Well, I'll stay until it goes live, then we'll go. Then I'm out. I'm
See ya.
connected to both. I'm connected to both here at once, so I'm hearing both you and them at the same time.
Well, have a good podcast, Dave.
Okay. You guys should be live on YouTube.
We are live on Zoom right now, but good enough.
All right, guys. See you later.
Thanks.
Ciao, Dave.
Bye.
Take care.
All
Well,
right.
here we are. I thought I wasn't going to make it, but I made it.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Good. Good. You know, fentanyl, what the hell? You can't go wrong.
I don't like, I don't like
Twilights. They gave me a Valium to kind of, I said, I'm relaxed. I can do this. And I don't need a Valium. And they go, no, we're going to do that because Valium and Benadryl, it'll make you really fine and relaxed for when you give it the fentanyl, which is going to fucking turn you into a puddle. Okay, which is what it does.
So, Bob, we don't have your video. All we got is a black screen.
Yeah, I know. I'm having a little problem.
Oh, Jerry.
Jerry, welcome. Let me get my light. There. I rearranged my office today. I don't know if I like it or not.
Looks good.
My computer, instead of being on the side, is on in front of the window so that my face has more light. I'm too cheap to buy those lights, you know, those guys talk about.
Frank, we got to rename you.
What? George?
Spell your last name again, Frank.
Salvatini.
For some reason,
You're in as Jeff.
not
Well,
anymore.
I logged in on that link in
That's okay.
Slack.
Jerry, we still don't have you. No sound from you. No audio.
sound from you.
Oh,
There
you go.
Now
There you
we're
are.
all right.
and Bob Bob, is that political?
Bob's got his
correct
mask
or
on.
what?
If I can figure out why my video isn't working, we'll be a better man than I am.
Well, you had it up a second ago, Bob.
Yeah.
Not on the camera I wanted it to be on.
Oh, you want the better camera.
Yeah.
Picky.
I just used my iMac camera
Oh.
right in
So
the
the-
middle.
This presentation is going to be off of the cuff
That's the way
somewhat.
it should be.
Yeah, not a lot of keynote slides.
We're not a community college. We're a SIG.
Yeah. I've got some examples that I'm going to run through, and then I'm going to actually bring them into the Insta360 app and show them how editing is done.
Excellent.
And that'll get, you get the whole idea then.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure what your components were when I was drafting the stuff for Davis, for the SIG on Facebook. Then that is a what?
This is an Insta360 camera. So two
Oh,
cameras.
I see.
Right?
Two lenses. I got it.
Two lenses.
What's that square on top do? Is that a flash or something, or on the top?
Well, this is part of a cage that holds it all together because this one's this one can be configured as like a GoPro. You just attach a single camera onto it.
Oh, okay.
The single lens. So you can make this thing a GoPro. I'm going to explain that to everybody. So here's a GoPro, right? One lens.
Yeah.
So
How
we're
are
going
they?
to cover.
How do the GoPros, let's say you're doing professional photography with the GoPro and you're not doing the video that you need, 1080p or something, but you really want high resolution pictures. Are the lenses really sharp? Are they Zeissy?
No, you're not going to get Zeiss quality out of a GoPro.
Okay.
You have first of all, it's a single fixed focus lens.
Okay.
And so fixed focus means everything's in focus. Where on a digital SLR or a mirrorless camera, you can get bokeh, where your background's out of focus.
Oh, yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
do that on something like this. Unless you do it in post, then you gotta,
Yeah, yeah, masks and stuff.
mask it all out. Yeah. Come on, attendees.
Jeff,
Yes.
There he goes.
I've got two
Add
things.
cable.
I thought I would, when you give me some time, I'll start out and show some of the items that I use to do infrared. And then, and how I do it, and what little is needed for infrared with an iPhone. And then, and I'll do it just like this, and then you can put me on share screen, and then I can go to the iPhone and show the pictures that produce.
Yeah, that's good. What we'll do is, as soon as I get done with the presentation, let's open it up to the crowd for questions and answers, and discussion, and then we can jump into your presentation there.
Okay.
Sound good?
Are we bringing everybody in as panelists?
Yeah, I don't see why not. If somebody is talking too loud or sneezing on the side, we'll tell them to mute.
Okay, they're coming in now. I'm going to start promoting them because we weren't live until I did something. So we are live
right
and
on.
recording and all of that.
You
Okay.
hit it right on the 7 o'clock.
Okay, we've still,
They'll be coming in.
Al Varney, you're on mute.
Leave them on. Let them. I'm going to make sure everybody stay muted and just leave them on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just safer that way.
Yeah, until we want to open it up for discussion or questions.
All right. See,
Yeah, cuts
up.
down on dog barking and cats meowing and grandkids and.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Susan. What is that Hamilton behind you? I see being acted out, or?
No, it's the Symphony Hall.
Chicago
Look
Symphony.
at that behind us. Oh, there we are. Honey, I shrunk the kids.
Hey.
Hi there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I shrunk the parents, is what you mean.
Yeah.
Or grandparents. That hasn't been made yet. Okay.
Rick Moranis, where are you when we need you? Wait, we need to pick it up. I'm working on it. Okay.
All righty. Bob, I'm going to get rolling, get started.
Yeah,
Does that sound good?
absolutely. I'm just going to sit in the background and push buttons.
You do that very well.
I'm an obsessive button pusher.
But
Okay.
feel free to ask questions and throw your 2 cents in now and then too.
Yeah, Bob. Okay, well, welcome everybody. Looks like we have 11 people so far. Hopefully some more will sign in and attend. Tonight we're here. Today is, believe it or not, the timing is perfect. Today is International Photography Day.
Oh, wow. So what is that?
It's the first time I've heard of it. So I guess it's a new holiday internationally. It's Photography Day, but that's today. So today we're going to be covering action cameras and 360-degree cameras. And I hope that everybody can get an idea what both of these types of cameras are about and what you would use them for and all the fun that you can have with them. Because I think this category of cameras really is about having fun. So I'm going to go and share out to my keynote screen. And we'll start there. So here's tonight's SIG. We'll move on to the next slide. So happy World Photography Day. And again, tonight we're going to be covering the 360 cameras and the GoPros, or action cameras, but everybody probably knows them as GoPros. So action cameras are small, rugged cameras that can shoot both still and video. Their general uses are for shooting fast-moving objects or activities. And the reason they're great for activities is that there's a ton of different types of ways you can connect them to different things like your bicycle, a drum set, to a surfboard, to your head for doing almost anything for underwater, scuba diving or skiing. You can attach them to your head. They're very easy to use. Generally, you put it in the mode that you want to shoot. If you're going to shoot stills, you put it in still mode, choose your resolution, and then you can just take pictures. Video, the same thing. You'll change the mode to video and change the resolution of what video you want to shoot at, and then just hit play or record. So very easy to use. Almost all action cameras have extremely wide angle lenses on them, so they're capturing a wide view. And it's a fixed focused lens, so everything's always in focus. So you don't have to worry about your focusing system or what kind of lens you have on, or if you focused it properly. So it's a fixed focus. Action cameras have, these days, especially the newer ones, have great stabilization. So there's really no need to go out and buy a $300 or $400 gimbal to mount your camera on to get to lose all your shakes and rattle and rolls. They have great stabilization in them. Most action cameras are waterproof as sold, or they have a housing that you could buy inexpensively so you can take them underwater. Some of them will be waterproof to a certain distance, like 10 feet. And if you want to take it any deeper, then you need to put a housing on it. But 10 feet is great because then you don't have to worry about being out in a rainstorm, or if you just want to get the kids swimming in the water, you can take it down and wade into a lake with it without any worries of it being damaged. And again, there's tons of accessories and mounts. The weaknesses for action cameras, they've got mid-sized sensors, so the image quality is not as good as you would get with a full professional DSLR or mirrorless camera. There's no interchangeable lenses but there are some lenses that you can snap on the front of them, just like you can snap on lenses onto iPhone. Again, they're fixed focus. Their cost anywhere between $100 and $700. Let me give you an example of, I couldn't find any real good GoPro examples, but I do have something that I did with one of the cameras that I was working on. So let me go back here. I'm going to stop sharing that. I got to switch where we're sharing. I'll get there. I got a little movie that I took of my brother-in-law playing guitar, and I mounted my camera to the top of his guitar neck. And here's just a short example. I'm not going to play the whole thing.
Is this on?
Okay, we're going to stop that. You don't need to hear that whole song unless you want to. But there's an example of just taking the GoPro, tiny little camera, and you see they come with these clips underneath, and you got all kinds of different mounts that you can hook them up and mount them to just about anything you want. Again, a surfboard, the drummer set, to a trombone, to a guitar, to your set of skis, or you can mount it up on your head on a helmet, or you can put them on a hood of a car. So you can mount these just about anywhere. And because of the stabilization, they really work out well for that type of shooting. So they're great for that purpose. And let me go back real quick to the slideshow. We'll go to the next slide. All right. I get to be bouncing back and forth. Oh, that's 360. Never mind. One thing that's really great about action cameras like GoPros is that you don't need special video editing or photo editing software to work with the files that you get from these cameras. They're going to be generally MPEG-4s or either RAW or JPEG images for the stills. and you can edit those anywhere on an iPhone, an iPad, on your Mac, using any range of software that can edit still photos and videos. So nothing special is needed here. Again, just a great big advantage of these things is they're rugged, stable, easy to use, and all the mounts so that you can put them anywhere. And that's what makes them fun. Again, this category of cameras, both the action cameras and the 360, really are just very fun cameras. Not designed to be high-end professional cameras that you're going to be shooting weddings with or taking pictures for magazines, but fun cameras.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
How do you get the images out of the camera? What takes the pictures? Where does it store them? How do you get the images onto your computer and stuff?
A lot of these now have Wi-Fi, so you can transfer the photos out either via Wi-Fi, but they all take mini SD cards.
Oh, the little TransFlash micro SD cards, little tiny guys. Yeah, yeah.
Little micro SD cards. You can pop those out into a reader and then bring everything into your computer. But some of them have Wi-Fi. The higher end GoPros have Wi-Fi, and you can dump the photos off of here just through Wi-Fi.
Are the lower, Jeff, are the lower end price wise, is that stabilization still terrific, or you have to go up the road to get more stable?
The lower end models, again, they'll start around $100. Stabilization is okay. It's not as good as something like a name brand like GoPro or Osmo or DJI. The image quality stabilization will be better on the better models, the more expensive models.
It is a gradient.
There is a gradient there. I mean, you can go out to Amazon and find one of these things for $30, and you're going to get what you pay for. But, you know, in some cases, that's all you need, $30 camera, but not for me. So there's not a lot to talk about with the action cameras other than those capabilities, because everything can be done editing normally just in regular video editing software, even something like iMovie or on your phone, you know, anywhere. So there's not a lot to discuss here. Most of that you guys are going to be fairly familiar with. I see Jim raising his hand. Jim?
Yeah, Jeff, do you have intervalometers on those or only regular movie and stills?
They don't have built-in intervalometers by that term, but what they do have is software built in to the better cameras like a GoPro where you can do time lapse. So there's a lot of good software on the better cameras like the GoPro that you can do different special effects like time lapse and night shots and HDR. All those kind of things can be done on these cameras, believe it or not. You don't have to go to a full pro camera to do that stuff. I do have a time lapse that I did on my 360, but I put it in GoPro mode, and I could show that to you very easily. You just set it up on a tripod, say go, and it creates the time lapse photo for you or video.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of fun. And they keep improving all the time. The software and the actual hardware keeps improving.
Jeff, how small can they be?
They're generally not too much smaller than the GoPro, but this is pretty tiny. Most of them are knockoffs of the GoPro. If they're not, you know, from the brand name GoPro, they're going to be knockoffs, and are generally about this size. I've seen some smaller that are, you know, more of a cube size, such as this, about that size, but then it's just a camera. You don't have a display unit, and it's more difficult to do the controls because you don't have an LCD screen. So there are some that are smaller. Even GoPro makes a smaller one.
Jeff, is it worthwhile investing in the GoPro versus one of the knockoffs?
I think so, but I think, Jim, if you want to hold on, I'm going to show you 360 cameras, and I think this is the way to go. And I'll explain why when I get there. So we're gonna jump into 360s right now, unless anybody else has any questions specifically about action cameras. If you do, raise your hand and we can unmute you.
Yeah, quick. question, batteries, battery life, how do you charge them? How, what's the workflow?
Most of them have built-in lithium-ion batteries, and you charge them through a USB cable. A lot of them, even the GoPros, do not come with the charger block. So you'll use your block from your iPhone, your iPad, any USB block to plug it in to charge it. Battery life, in a still mode, I'm sure you could probably take 300 or 400 pictures without running through the battery. Video, I'm sure you can get over an hour on one of these without running through the battery.
Okay.
And I'm talking about an hour of 4K video.
Thank you.
Wow.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't seen any of these that can shoot 8K video yet, but many of them can shoot 4K. And again, but remember the limitations that, it's a fixed focus lens and the quality is not going to be the same as a lens that you're going to get on a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. But the video is still quite beautiful. I mean, it's great for shooting a lot of stuff.
And
Not
Jeff,
quite.
what size cards do you use?
Mini SD cards, and most of them will take all the way up to 128, 256 cards. So
Okay.
plenty of storage space. Okay, let me move on to 360s. A lot of the same stuff applies there, but I'm going to hop back into the keynote. There we go, and 360s. Now, by definition, these are dual lens cameras. So they'll have a lens, what you would consider on the front and the back of the camera. These lenses are very wide, usually 270 degrees in angle. And the cameras will stitch the two images, one taken from the front camera, one taken from the back camera. It will stitch it together. And I'm going to show you how that occurs right in the camera. So it's nothing that you have to worry about. Some of the cameras, you do have to do it, stitch it outside of the camera. So either on your iPhone, your iPad, or your computer, you'll do the stitching of the two cameras together and then do your editing. These cameras can shoot both still images and video, and still images and video in 360. General uses, again, this is an action camera, so you can use them just like you would a GoPro, but now you can shoot 360. They're great for vacations and being used for blogging a lot these days now too. Pretty much the same strengths as a action camera. They're very small, very easy to use. With the 360, you get greater flexibility with your image capture and editing, and I'll show you that. You can do a lot of special effects using a 360 camera that really is almost impossible to achieve using any other camera type. With these cameras, most of them have the same kind of a mount that you would have for a GoPro. So a lot of the same mounts and accessories that you have for the GoPro or action cameras can work with these cameras too. And just like a standard action camera, 360 cameras generally have very good stabilization. So it makes it great to walk around with shooting family videos, and I'll show you some of mine. Some of these are waterproof, not all of them. But the ones that aren't, you can generally get a housing, purchase an extra housing, so you can take it either in shallow water or scuba housing to take it much deeper. 360 cameras are generally a little bit more expensive than action cameras. So let's just give you an example. A GoPro 8 right now, I saw it today selling for $299. And the camera that I'll show you in a minute sells for $429. But you can get a 360 camera as cheap as I believe around $329 at this point. So they're just a little bit more expensive than an action camera, but there's a lot more that you can do with these 360s, and I'll keep explaining that. The weaknesses, again, more expensive. They can be fragile with the lenses. You have to be careful. You don't want to take the lens cover off and then put the camera down on a table and scratch the lens. There's no interchangeable lenses for these, and they are fixed focus, just like an action camera. And the costs here, I want to lower that lower end cost there. So I would say from $329 to up to $1,000 for consumer prosumer model. And let's see what I got on the next slide. Okay, now 360 cameras, the pictures and the videos are different than a standard camera. So you must edit them either in the provided software that comes with the cameras, or you need to use a little bit more advanced photo and video editing apps such as Photoshop or Final Cut Pro for video editing. So there is a little bit of a limitation there, but the software that they're providing these days with these cameras is quite good. In fact, the one that I'm going to show you today was updated just a couple of days ago, and they added a lot of capabilities to it. Let me show you some demos of 360 stuff. And I'm going to go out and let me see. And so here's a 360 shot that I'm displaying in Facebook. So in Facebook, you can display 360 photos and 360 video. And 360 video can also be presented on YouTube. But now there's two different types of video. So there's standard 360 video, and then there's immersive 360 video. And I'll explain the difference when I get there. But you're looking at a picture here where I'm circling. I hope you all see it. This is a picture I took off the front of my friend's sailboat. And unlike some of those silly, what they call 360 pictures on Facebook that you can only move from side to side about that much, this you can go all the way around. Can everybody see me spinning that around?
Yes.
Right on, yeah.
And you can look up. So I'm looking straight up, and I can look straight down, straight forward. So this is on Facebook. So, you know, anybody that goes to your site or gets invited to see your thing can spin this around and see the whole thing. So this is a picture. And I think that's fun. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's fun. Now you can see the image quality is good. It's not up to a Canon EOS 5R quality, but it's still good image quality. And there's just a lot you can do with this. Let me switch over to looking at.
Before you switch, just rotate horizontally. So you rotate on, go kind of slow. Stop, not go. Okay, stop right there. Now you went too far. Go back a little more. Okay, now right up, go up from the bow of the boat up. You can see that kind of out of focus area there in the water. Going
Right
up
here.
going up and maybe a little bit down. So explain why that's there.
See this right here with my hand?
Well, no, not that.
Well,
Not that.
it's there too.
Up to your left, you can see it better. To
Yeah.
yeah. There you go. Right up in there, you can see it. Explain what that is.
Well, I'm going to draw a line. Whoops. What did
Okay,
Facebook just
you
do?
got it. You got it.
I lost it here though. Huh.
Go back.
Yeah, there's no going back on Facebook.
Man,
That stinks. Well, to what Bob was talking about, when the 360 camera takes your picture, you're taking actually two pictures, a front picture and a back picture. And the camera has to stitch those together. And in some cases, you're going to see what they call a stitch line. And that's an area that is a little bit out of focus. So the cameras are trying to overlap the two images, and the computer software and the cameras are trying to get that to match up. But you might get a little area that's out of focus, and that's called a stitch line.
Yep.
And those stitch lines are usually worse when it's closer to the camera, within about 4 feet of the camera. Anything outside that 4 feet, there's usually enough overlap of the images from the two wide angle cameras that the stitch line is very clean and you won't see any out of focus or any other kind of noise or
distortion.
distortion.
They're really how much they've gotten so much better. The software is just absolutely phenomenal, and the camera you're playing with there, the software on our iPhone is just absolutely amazing what it can do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now here's a shot. I'll play a video here. This is what I want to speak to, why I feel that a 360 camera is a better purchase at this point. If you're going to spend the money, a better purchase than buying an action camera. 360 camera, when you're shooting video, it's taking pictures both in front of you, back of you, above you, below you, all the way around, 360 degrees. If you're used to going on vacation or shooting videos of something, even with your iPhone, you have to look where you're pointing the camera to make sure that you're capturing that in the camera. So you're always looking and turning and pointing the camera. With a 360 camera, you just walk with the camera and it's taking all the video all around you at all times, so that when you later on in post, you can edit it and point it in any direction you want, capture something that was behind you or in front of you or above you. But here is an example of an immersive video that I put up on YouTube of me walking through one of the temples in Egypt. Now, when I say immersive, this is a video that even being played, that I can spin it around. The viewer can spin it around and look anywhere they want. And if you had one of those 360 headsets, you would just turn your head and look around. So I'll play that now so you can get an idea. So here you can see I popped a video or title in, and I'm gonna spin this around. So we'll look at the sky, look at the top of my bald head, and I'm just walking straight through. I'm just walking straight through this temple, but the viewer can spin it around and look at anything they want. So I hope everybody gets the idea that, you know, what you can do with these cameras.
So where did you have the camera?
I'm holding it on a selfie stick above my head, and I'm just walking straight ahead. I'm not turning the camera. I'm not doing anything. I'm just walking straight ahead. So if you look down here, you'll see me. And let's see, I can spin around. You see my hand here where I hope you can see my cursor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it.
The pole for the selfie stick is in my hand going straight up. The software eliminates the camera and the selfie stick from being viewed. So you don't see anything there.
How big are these cameras?
They're the size of a GoPro. I'll show you in a minute when I go back live. I'll hold mine up. I'll put it up on view. But so you can see just how much fun these are. I'll play it a little bit more. So if I want to see what the writing is on this wall, I can spin it around and take a look. I can go back, look at the ceiling, whatever you want to do. Now, immersive 360 video, you have to put up on YouTube right now. Facebook gives you a little lower quality image, so YouTube's better quality. And YouTube is free. So is Facebook, of course, but let me go to another one here. Here is a shot with somebody scuba diving with one of these in a housing. And I'm going to spin it around so you get to see everything. So here's the diver. He's actually on a motorized scooter, and he's got the camera bolted off the front of the scooter. So you can't see the pole for it. You can't see anything, but we can spin around and take a look at all this underwater stuff.
What sort of frames per second is the video? Is it 30?
The better cameras can do up to 60 frames a second. Well, actually 120 frames a second.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but there's limitations here. This is physics still is getting us.
So Susan, you asked how big the camera was. There it is. So next to my head, so you can get an idea.
Here's
Here's Bob's.
that's 2 generations old. Okay.
That's an
And
Insta one.
yeah. And that's the 361. And then this is the one that I really like better. This is the 1X, which is right before what Jeff has got. And the R is amazing, but the value of this guy is absolutely phenomenal now. He's a lot less money.
Yeah, I think the one that like Bob's holding there, the Insta 1X, I think goes around 329 now.
Yeah, but I think the thing that's most important, you look at it, you can see it's focusing on my face, not on the camera. You see those 2 bumps? Those are the lenses. And if you set that thing down, you're in trouble. So I always carry mine in a little the little bag that comes with it on a shoulder strap, on a neck strap.
And
And
see
just
on
keep
mine,
putting
I've
it
got a
away.
little rubber thing that I just put over both lenses.
Yeah, that one, you always want the new one because it's always better.
Well, Bob, I shot all of that video in Egypt and stuff with your camera there, the Insta 1X.
The 1X?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, did you use the iPhone app, or did you did you just use the iPhone app and edit right on the iPhone, or what did you do?
I actually brought that into the Insta Studio app, edited it there, and then brought it into Final Cut Pro from there.
Oh, okay. Just I have found it's just really amazing how well the app on the iPhone works. It's it's phenomenal, and it could do it wirelessly. You don't have to take the card out and stuff. So
yeah, you don't even have to move the files to the phone. You can leave the files on the camera, edit them there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite amazing.
So who makes
what's the
cameras?
capacity?
Is it just one?
I'm sorry, Marcia?
Is there just one person or one company that makes those cameras now, or those different vendors?
No, there's several different ones.
Manufacturers.
You have this company called Insta360, which is the camera that Bob has in this one. That's Insta360. GoPro actually makes a model that's very good at also.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be 3 or 4 different other companies that make them. Ricoh makes a very higher end one called the Theta 1 or the Theta 2 now, I think. And then there's another one that's about an $800 camera. That's even higher.
There's literally dozens of them.
Yep.
There's literally dozens.
What makes higher end versus what you guys are showing us?
Bigger sensors mainly, so the higher quality images. That's the main difference between the less expensive models and the high end models.
Yeah, Susan, you can unmute yourself.
I'm just wondering what the capacity of these is. How much time you can put on a single camera?
Well,
Depends
again,
on the
it
memory
all
card.
depends on the chip that you put in. They can take up to, at least this model can take up to 256 gigabyte chip, which I went for a 2.5-week vacation in Egypt and used the camera just about every day, taking pictures and video, and I never filled the chip. I brought one chip home, and it had everything on it.
Wow.
So there's the little chip. You can see that little microchip.
It's called a micro
mini
SD card, and on this camera, it just goes right inside, and it's a little spring-loaded latch. And it's always fussy to get it back in. And the big advance on the newer ones is interchangeable batteries. So some of the early ones didn't have interchangeable batteries, and most of the newer ones do. So
it only comes with one battery, and if you want,
no, actually, you buy them in a kit. You could buy. Does Apple still sell these? Apple's been selling kits.
They do.
I got this one as a kit from Apple. It was 2 batteries and a couple of other accessories. It was a really good deal. So, and I don't know are they selling the 1R now? I don't know what they're selling.
I don't know if they have the 1R yet or not.
Okay.
How
the
long
1R
is the battery
brand
good
new.
for? How long can the battery last?
The battery is good for about really a whole day of shooting stills, but about 45 minutes of video.
Well, question, do the batteries charge, are they self-charging in the sense of you don't have to be in the camera, or do you have to charge them in the camera?
You charge them in the camera, or you can get external chargers.
Okay.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah, it's a bunch of aftermarket, but there's a micro USB. You can't see it in my light here because I don't have enough light on the right now, but there's a micro USB slot in this. No, it's not Lightning, and no, it's not USB-C yet.
This model has USB-C in it.
That one does?
Yeah.
Now you can't put it in backwards.
Nope. So generally, if you're going to go on vacation, you're going to want to have 2 batteries, you know, so that you can have one, use it for 45 minutes, and while you're shooting, you know, have the other one getting charged.
Yeah.
So in Egypt, you can understand that I probably didn't have sources where I could charge it very easily. I just brought one of those rechargeable batteries, USB battery, and plugged in the extra battery while I was using the other one. So still very convenient.
Would you say that the 360 cameras that the Apple Store would have, they probably picked them because they're more compatible with the iPhone?
Well, they're going to have software that'll run on the Mac and the iPhone. Yeah, I'm sure that's one of the reasons that they chose the Insta brand. I don't know any other reason other than maybe ease of use and not bringing in a high-end professional model to try to show off an $800 camera.
They so Apple sells the Insta360 one, the Insta360 Go. They have a whole series of cameras that they sell on their website. So if you want to look, so they have the 361R, and not for pickup. And I don't see what else it's includes, but it's a big deal. The most important thing, it's the kit they're selling is $550. But I think one of the things that's most important is the 360R is basically highly water resistant / waterproof, and mine is not. So to me, that's super important.
The other thing about this camera here, the 361R, it's what I was going to refer to this earlier when we were talking about the GoPro and why you might not want to buy a GoPro or an action camera at this point, is you can get something like this 361R that is a 360 camera. So you got the 2-lens module. This is a modular camera, so I can take it apart and separate the computer portion from the lens portion from the battery. The battery's on the bottom, and then we got the computer portion on one side and the lens on the other. And you could substitute the lens portion with a single lens camera that makes it basically a GoPro. So now I'm shooting just like a GoPro would, or I can pop in the 360 lens edition and then shoot 360.
Do they
So
come
this
with?
one will do both.
Do they come with both lenses?
You have several ways you can buy it. You can buy it with both lenses, or they even have one that has a Leica lens and a higher resolution chip. So it gives you a better quality lens and a 1-inch chip. So much higher quality on the image side.
Yeah, the one I was quoting, by the way, is the 1-inch edition. So they also sell. Jeff, have you played with the 360 Go?
Not yet.
Okay, so that one's $160. So that's down there almost in the adult toy range.
Well, that's a clip-on that only shoots forward. So it's not 360, a true 360, and it only shoots short clips. It's kind of fun, but it's not gonna be the same as shooting with one of these.
No.
Let me step out. We're gonna go into Insta360 Studio software on the Mac. I'm sorry, Susan, unmute yourself.
What other means of playback? You mentioned YouTube, but can you play it back on the phone in photos, or how do you play it back?
You can play, if you want to view it in 360 mode, you have to play it back in the 360 application on the iPhone. But if you want to just look at a standard video, and I'll explain the difference between an immersive video and a standard video in a moment when we get into the application. But if you want to look at it immersively, you have to be in the application itself.
So you can't just send it to somebody and have them watch it unless they have the application.
Well, there are some apps out there now that will allow you to play it back, and the apps are free. They're not the greatest apps, but they are free. So you can suggest to somebody to download an app, and then you can send them a 360 video, and they can watch it immersively on their iPhone.
The other thing you could do if you want is you could throw it up on YouTube unpublished and send somebody the link. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just send a text message with the YouTube link. They click on it and they're viewing it right there and then without downloading any applications. All right, let me step off into the 360 application itself from Insta, and I'll show you some stuff there that will help you understand. There we go. Okay, so here is the Insta360 Studio application. What I'm showing you on screen right now is what is called the flat file from the camera. And what this is if you look at it carefully, the left side of the screen, if you were to stretch this around and connect it to the right side of the screen, that would give you a 360 video or a 360 image. So this is the whole flat image. So we're seeing the front camera here, the back camera is looking at me, but if we stitch it together, that would give you the image. Now on the Insta software, that's stitched together automatically for you. So I'm gonna move to a natural view. And this is a video I just shot last week. And I can move this around in the editing software and pan it closer or further out, or move it around, spin it around, look up, look down. And I can export this video as it is right here and allow somebody to work with it immersively in YouTube or Facebook, like I did with that Egyptian video. So I can just send this whole video directly out as an immersive video and allow the viewer to choose what they want to look at. The other thing you can do is you can see down here, we have a timeline at the bottom of the screen, and we can move up and down in the timeline. You can do what they would call, in this one is called free capture. So I'm going to use the free capture, and I can put keyframes. So let's say I wanted to start the video here. And I'll hit play. And you can see this is just a natural play, but I can stop it. I can spin this around. And now I can set a keyframe. So you see it puts a little dot on the top of the timeline right here. So we got a keyframe at the beginning of the video. The next one I just put in. And then I could play this video some more. And I could spin the view around. Let's say we want to look at the side here. And I could set a keyframe. So there's a second keyframe. So now if I go back to the beginning of the video here, you'll see that this is where I started. I moved it to the front and set a keyframe there. And then the next keyframe's along the side. So it'll slowly pan to the side. So what I'm building here is a 360 video, but it's being displayed in a normal 190 view. This is not immersive. So when you move this into Facebook or YouTube, or just play it on your phone, this video can be played anywhere. It's not immersive, so you don't need special software to play it. What I'm doing is building a view with the angles that I want. So if you're on vacation, let's say you're walking through that Egyptian tomb, and I'm walking through with the camera, at a later point, I can point the camera and edit to the points that I want the viewer to see. But when I'm filming it, I don't have to keep moving the camera back and forth to point out what the viewer should see. You could do it all in post editing, which is what I'm doing right here. So we can go back to play, and we can do some special effects. We can go to what's called a tiny planet. So now this is the whole video in a tiny planet view, and I'll set another keyframe right there. So if we back up and get back to the view where we're looking on the side of the boat, it'll slowly pan to the tiny planet view, which is like a special effect. So everybody got that?
Mhm.
Yeah, how did you make the tiny planet happen?
Well, I'm
Where's the-
moving my finger up and down on the mouse, so that's changing my perspective, and then I can drag. I'm grabbing and dragging the horizon line down. So you almost have to play with it in order to see how it's done.
It's the roll button on the mouse.
Yeah, this right now I'm moving up and down with the finger on the mouse without pressing. So I'm just using like the button on a mouse would normally, up and down. But now if I want to change the angle of view, I just click and hold and drag. So it's all very easy. And set another key point, boom. So we can come here, back up to playhead, go back and hit play. We'll go to the side of the screen, and then the next keyframe is the tiny planet. So it'll eventually go to the tiny planet, and then it'll spin around and look at the back. And there's me moving to the front of the boat. So now, once you get done with your editing, you can export this as a standard video that can be played anywhere on your TV set, anywhere. No special software needed because it's not an immersive video.
So what's the definition of immersive video? What makes it immersive?
Immersive means that there's no set point of view. So I'm going to go back into immersive. So this would be immersive so that the person, if I'm playing it back, this would be like playing it back on YouTube. They can grab it and move it around where they want. That's immersive.
Mm.
And if they had something like an Oculus headset on their head, and they're seeing this view, if they turn their head to the left, they're going to see that. They turn their head to the right, they're going to see that. They turn all the way around, they'll see that. They look up, they'll see the sky. So that's an immersive video.
So when you're recording, the cameras are on the front and back. How does it get like overhead if you don't turn the camera up and down?
Well, the camera is also, the lenses are such that they're filming up and down, left and right, on the front and the back.
Each sensor films through a lens, which is 180 degree angle. So cut a ball in half, and one half of the ball is recorded in one lens, and then the other half of the ball is recorded on the other lens, and then the camera sticks it back together again. The software sticks it back together to make a complete 360 view.
Mm.
That's a good way to explain it, Bob. It's a hard concept to understand at first because this is something new. These cameras, 360 cameras, have only been around for about maybe 5 years. Yeah.
So if you look at mine, you can see the bump. The bump on the top is one lens, and that shoots 180 degree vision. So it shoots this whole half, and then the other one shoots the other half. And if you notice, they're a little bit offset from each other. That's so the hardware in the camera, this camera keeps focused on me. That's so the hardware inside the camera can align it better. But yeah, that's what it is. There's two complete spheres.
Can I ask a question?
Spheres. Yes.
Oh, but this is Dave, by the way. my camera's off because I didn't want anybody to see that I was eating dinner. So the one thing that I didn't see from Jeff from your angle is a upward view. So like something. So if that camera is the two spheres, can you get a view? So for example, the person. So if I'm correct, then the software is actually creating an image looking down upon the same camera. Can you do it on the way up so that you're looking from let's say, waist level?
While you're talking, I'm going to navigate to my YouTube channel and I'll show you that exact thing.
Okay. Because that's the one angle that I haven't seen on a lot of these cameras.
So how do you actually hold the camera when you're taking it so that you don't block out the view yourself of your own body?
You just hold it on a selfie stick.
Yeah.
Above your head.
Yeah. You just hold it on a selfie stick. No special way to hold it.
On the bottom of the camera, there's a tripod mount. There's a little you can see the little tripod mount on the bottom of that camera.
Oh yeah.
Quarter 20 mount.
All right, so here's the video. And I'm looking straight up right now, Davis. And I happen to put my logo at the top of the sailboat mast. And now I can look straight down. I'm holding it over the edge of the boat, so I'm looking straight down at the water. And there I am. So you can see.
Okay, so but the upward angle though doesn't include the cameraman in that view then, is that right?
You don't see the camera and you don't see the selfie pole. The software eliminates
okay.
that.
That's what I was curious about. Okay.
So that's called the nadir. That's that point at the bottom of the camera is where the software works really, really hard to make things go away that are there. And you can usually see your hand where it's holding the selfie stick and not see the selfie stick. You can usually actually see your hand. And if you look, you can just, it's hard when it's been transcoded down. But it's really pretty amazing.
Let me see if I can get a view of something like that here. Let's go to this video.
Well, so is that a preference? So let's say if I'm filming with this camera and I want to see the perspective of, for lack of a better word, from someone's waist up, right? Is that a preference in the software or is that just automatically?
Well, remember
the
center of the sphere is the camera. Okay. So you have to decide where you're placing the camera when you're taking pictures. So if you want to have a belly button view, right, then you have to put the camera in front of your belly button. Is that what you're saying? I'm confused.
Right, but you'll never see the camera, the selfie stick, or the cameraman in the software, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh no, absolutely. You do see the cameraman in the software. Absolutely. Okay.
From that angle. Okay.
No, from any angle. What you don't typically see is just the selfie stick. So if you take the camera, put it on a selfie stick and set it in the middle of the plaza and then dance around the camera, what you won't see is that little tiny circle at the bottom of the selfie stick, but you'll see the cameraman. Or you'll see yourself, like my bald head when I'm walking down my bald head. So I always wear a hat when I'm shooting with the 360. Otherwise, you're always looking at my bald head.
See, does it matter if you hold the camera with the bubble lens going east and west or north and south?
It doesn't matter too much, Frank. What will matter is if you have something real bright light source like the sun.
Yeah.
You want to kind of change the direction of which the lens is facing the sun. Otherwise, you'll get lens flare at the stitch line.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only case. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how you hold it. So, I mean, when I was walking through Egypt, I just put this thing up over my head and I just walked. And I'm just walking around looking like I'm holding an ice cream cone.
How about
I just filmed. I don't have to look.
No, you don't have to because it's 360.
I know. But what happens if you do twirl it? Anything?
Well,
not really.
You can throw off the stabilization in the software a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
What'll happen is when you play it back, it's going to be rotating So if you're trying to look in one direction, you're going to have to keep adjusting it to look in one direction because you're
Let's
rotating
put it
it
like,
away from it.
Frank, do you ever ride on a roller coaster and get sick?
No,
Okay. Well, I get sick if I ride on a roller coaster. If you spun the 360 camera, oh, do you have your bullet time? Jeff, do you have your bullet time handle handy?
I don't.
Oh, let me grab mine.
Oh, you got one. Okay. I don't have it. You know, the special effects used in the Matrix movie where
which one?
it's called Bullet Time, and they did that with a series of about 300 DSLR cameras and all the special electronics to get them to shoot all perfect timing. Well, on these cameras, you can get a little adapter that fits on the top of your selfie stick, and it's called a bullet time adapter. And
Okay, it's got a
showing up
handle.
right there.
Okay. And here, let me do it right. Okay. And then what you do is you spin the camera around like that. And you get to spin a $500 camera around like that all day long. And you would be amazed at the effects you can get from bullet time.
Yeah,
Really?
it's
Oh,
the
wow.
Matrix, which were multi-$100,000 footage for 10 seconds of footage. It cost them over $500,000 to do that.
And if you buy the kit, the gadget's included. And no,
So
I've
there's
never done any bullet time shots. I don't even know what they look like.
There's so much you can do with these guys. And the software has all kinds of other special effects that I haven't even tampered with. That's really cool. And if you go out to Insta360's website, they can show you all kinds of different examples. And what's kind of cool is they show you how you have to hold the camera in order to shoot the image, the footage. And then all you do is you inside the iPhone, on the iPhone's app, you just say, I want to take this piece of footage that I just shot, and I want to give it this effect. And you touch it, and it automatically applies the effect through artificial intelligence. And it turns your shot into this crazy special effect. It's really neat and lots of fun. I might be able to show one off. Let me see here. I did a real short one the other day, just playing around.
Jeff, do you follow Ben Claremont?
Yes, I love Ben.
Okay. So there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Ben Claremont. Okay. And he does a ton of videos on 360 videos. And so he just released July 5th, which 360 camera you could buy. And I bet there's 40 of them in the video that he talks about. So, and he has some fantastic videos and stills and stuff. I love his prints where he takes he's a tiny planet guy. He has these beautiful tiny planets on the wall behind him in his office. Just gorgeous, gorgeous stuff.
What's his name?
Ben Claremont. Here, let me, I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, he's a very good source to learn more about 360 cameras. But even if you go on YouTube and just search 360 cameras, you'll get a lot of sources. But Ben Claremont's one of the best.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 guys that are just amazing. I like Ben because I've been interested in virtual tours, and he has a course on virtual tours that I've got. It used to be to do a virtual tour, it was just ungodly expensive for a photographer to do virtual tours. Now you take that Theta 1 or Theta 5, I forget which one. You take the Theta 1 and you go do virtual tours, and you know it isn't even competition anymore. It's just amazing how good it is.
I've done 2 now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that have actually sold.
Cool. I haven't done any yet, so
Very easy.
Oh yeah,
I'll show you.
I'd love to see it. Thank you.
So Jeff, you're saying that you did a virtual tour, say like of somebody's house that was for sale or whatever, or
Yep.
to show off, and you sold them the video.
Yeah, it's more than a video. When you do a virtual tour, you put it up on a special website, and the buyer or the prospective buyer can click and move through the house and then look all the way around. Any place he clicks, he can look around up and down and look at the room and then click, I want to go in the kitchen and I want to look around the kitchen. Click, I want to go in the bedroom. And it moves them around the house and then you can look around and see everything. So you get, you know, especially in these days of COVID, you don't have to go to the house. You do a virtual tour and you're going to see just about as much as if you were there.
There was a question in the chat that I forgot to bring up. Al asked, can you shoot just 180? Can you shoot just one lens at a time?
Some of the cameras can. You can actually, the way, at least with the Bob, with the Insta cameras, you get both camera lenses are separate files.
Right. So you could just look at one lens.
You can look at one, but you still have to, you can't allow the software to process it. So there's some workaround to do it.
Yeah. Well, and the R has a different module that you could put on, which makes it into just an action. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they love to accessory your budget.
Well, if there aren't any questions about 360 right now, Jerry wants to do an extension of the mobile phone technology or capabilities.
I have one last question.
Pardon?
I have one last question.
Okay.
So does the software come with like a little wizard to kind of walk you through setting it up and, you know, the intro to the software, or do they have little tutorials in the software? What's the learning curve on that stuff?
There's tutorials out on, you know, for Insta, there's tutorials out on their website. I will have to admit, they're not the best tutorials. So there's a little bit of a struggle, especially since this is such a foreign concept of shooting 360 and how to edit it. It is a foreign concept compared to regular camera work. So it does take a little bit more work to understand it and get to use it, but it's really not that hard. Once you stick the mouse on it and start moving it around like I was, you get the hang of it real quick.
What's amazing is how fast you can pick it up when you're editing, at least with the Insta360 software. The GoPro software, I would not recommend at all. I would not recommend their 360 software. I had a Fusion and it was impossible to use. Insta360 sort of owns the best side of this market, although the Ricoh is really good. But Insta360 is the most user-friendly of the bunch.
One other thing I wanted to point out here is that you have to remember that your video and your still capabilities with this are infinite. So you can shoot a video and edit a video out and then go back and edit a different look with the same footage. So I had a video I would show it to you, but let's not worry about that right now, where we're going down a hill in Egypt in the back of a truck. And I shot it once with the camera and I edited it twice. So I came up with two different videos from the same footage. And one is looking down on us from the top and us screaming as we're going down this steep hill. Everybody's, you know, screaming and yelling. And the other one is more of an eye level shot. So it's the same exact footage, but you have infinite ways that you can edit a shot. You can't do that with a regular video camera. You get one shot and that's the shot where you're looking with the camera. That's all you got.
And this has a microphone on the front and the back?
Yes.
To pick up the sound?
Yeah, they have microphones. They're not great.
Yeah.
They're okay, but you can, with a lot of the cameras, you can add external microphones if you want better quality. If you're looking for professional sound quality, you know, Bob's used to this $600 microphone in front of him, but
no, it's a $200 microphone. Sorry,
$200.
Yeah, it's not that expensive. But really, you didn't see the best $15 microphone, did you? Here's the best $15 microphone right here.
There you go.
That's it. That's a pile. That's $15. I just did a video on this. So anyway, that's for about $50. I can make your sound really good on any video. That's a different subject, but yeah.
All right, Jerry, would you like to show us what you got?
Okay. Can everybody see me?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, sometimes you're in the cutting edge of something. And a friend of mine by the name of Rad Drew from Indianapolis and another friend started something. And then I said, Rad, show me what you got. He did. He said, but the images aren't too good yet. And so I'm probably one of 3 people in the country that have started something. And it's going to spread like wildfire among photographers. It started back in World War II. And as the bombers went over Germany, the lead bomber had to try and figure out where were the cannons planted to shoot the planes down. And if they could find a colorblind person, they could tell the difference between camouflage and actually tree foliage. They couldn't find enough colorblind people. And so Kodak right away got after this, and they developed basically in 35 millimeter mostly, infrared film. And then the spotter on the plane, they could be taking pictures. And so next time planes came over, they would know exactly where the cannons were and where there was camouflage. So it was a World War II effort. Maybe some of your, if any of your parents or grandparents were in the Air Force, it was big, and they kept it secret before the Germans figured this out. Well, pretty soon they could spot. They could send a spotter plane and figure out where they were, and then send the mass bombers over there and dropping. Well, as a photographer, I've always been interested, and in the darkroom days, we had to put our cameras on F8, and we'd have to load the cameras in pure darkness, not in a dark room, but in bags, because the film would be exposed. It was very difficult, but it was still an artistic form. Well, Rad Drew and another friend started something, and they shared it with me, and I'm going to share it with you. And that's with the iPhone. And now I've been taking infrared pictures for many years, where we have a regular camera and we have it converted where they take the sensor off and put a new sensor in. It could be a color sensor, a black and white sensor, different nanograms. And okay, then how do we hold this to the iPhone? Well, a company called Moment, who has all these Moment lenses. I know Bob has maybe has some of them. I have about 4 or 5. I don't have the video one. They developed this little, can people see my hand?
Gotta get it higher, Jerry.
Huh?
Higher, right there. Higher, not closer, higher. Okay, too high. Back closer to you. There you go. Now you can see it.
And I can take this, if I have a Moment lens case, where on the back, we can put these lenses into the case. I can put this on, and then into that screws a little 36 millimeter thing. And then I have another one where I have a 62 millimeter. See that? And then with the 62 millimeter, I can actually put Moment lenses into it and put a larger filter on. But I found right now, so far, the most perfect thing in getting this unique look is just to use this little 37 millimeter thing by Moment to put a filter on, and the filter screws in, okay? And I'm not going to plug in, Jeff, and plug in my iPhone. And can I take over the screen?
Yeah, you can do a screen share.
Screen share. Okay. And
And you got to choose which screen you're sharing.
okay, iPhone via cable.
There you go. That should work. And then you get to start. There should be a button there that says start share or share.
Down below here.
Yeah, there should be something that says share.
Okay, trust.
Yeah. Your phone is black though.
Huh? I'm connected to the computer.
And what's on the screen of the phone?
What I want you to see here, trust.
Yeah, trust that phone.
I did that. Now what?
Okay. Now inside of Zoom, you should be able to go to share screen.
Your screen sharing.
Yep, and then you'll choose the iPhone. You should have different things that you can choose from on your computer. One of them should be the iPhone.
Huh. I'm using my pad here and I'm trying to get it to work. New share.
Yeah, stop sharing and then start over again.
So there's a red button at top that says stop sharing.
Stop share.
So stop sharing and then go down to the bottom and share screen again.
Share screen again.
And now you should have a choice of different screens that you can share. And one of them should be your iPhone. Now we can't see it, so I can't help you there, unfortunately.
Sure. Connect your iPhone to the pad. Okay. Connect iPhone pad. Okay.
Is it on-
Are you trying to do this from an iPad?
Okay.
Yeah, he said he was on his iPad.
Ah, here we go. There. Okay. And
Can everybody
so,
see that?
Yes.
Yeah, I can
I
see.
see it. So I took this picture sitting on a lounge chair, a part of my front yard. Now this is a 720 nanometer filter. Cost about $19.
Nobody knows what that means. Explain that.
I will.
Wavelength.
And this piece here is probably $20. The nanometer, this is, your eye can't see this because in your cameras, they don't let this invisible light be seen. But now I can. And this is the raw image that my camera took in my front yard. Then you can go to Photoshop, but being a mobile photographer, I just use my iPad and go to Affinity for iPad, and I do a channel swap of the red and blue channels, and look at that.
By 72, the 720 nanometers, you mean far into the infrared, right?
720.
But the wavelength you're referring to is the infrared.
Right.
Yeah,
It's 720 infrared.
And there are different.
Yeah, right.
There are different, you can go to a deep color, like a 6 something, and anything actually, 720 is about where the middle range, and people that do a lot of infrared black and white, they do this for their cameras. Some have full spectrum cameras, but then they have to have all these different infrared or different colors, infrared lenses. But what it does, where there's chlorophyll, where there's green grass, where there's green plants, and you'll see the bottom of the picture is kind of shaded. Those are variegated hostas.
Right.
And then the next thing across the sidewalk are some green leaves and yellow marigolds. And then the bushes right out in here are some brand new miniature irises. And then look at the leaves here and the clouds across the street. It's really incredible. When Rad Drew saw this, he said, "Jerry, you're ahead of me." I said, "Well, I've been playing. What have you been doing?" He said, "Well, I've been in the hospital and I'm trying to get ready for some other things I'm doing because all my things are canceled. So I decided, okay, I'll do some more. And then these are a little different variations. And then down here at the bottom, I dodged that a little bit just to see what I could do. And here's another lens, and it's a higher number than 720. It's 8 something, and I don't like it. The 720 is so much better. And you can see some of the results there. They're not as good. And then I went over to a park and I started doing something. This is a Prairie Lakes and Des Plaines. And this is a pond there. And I start playing with it. And then I start playing with live view on my iPhone and got different effects with the water. See how the water looks kind of milky, and it's even in infrared. And then this morning, I did some more, and I'll show you some of the results here. There's one, and that's using live view where you can stop it, make blurry water. Let me go further. And here's some. Look what it does to clouds. It's just glorious with the clouds.
Yeah, that is pretty.
Mm-hmm. But you see the raw. There's the raw before the channels are swapped, and it's glorious. It is amazing black and white.
You know, Jerry, what you ought to do is you ought to shoot a little video of you actually operating the iPhone, record your screen recording when you're or your iPad, do a screen recording, and so you can share it, so you can show us how to do it. Because I don't think people will understand it just from talking through it.
No, but I'm just wanted to do a fast introduction, but I will do that.
I think that'd be wonderful.
It's just incredible. And Rad, who introduced me to it, he said, "Holy smokes, do you know you're on the cutting edge or something?" I said, "Well, I'm playing, I'm writing things down what I'm doing." And then I showed some people that won some big awards with infrared on their big boy cameras, their Canon 850s. No, Nikon 850s that they had converted. Tony Sweet. He said, "Jerry, how did you do that?" I said, "On an iPhone." And that's what to me is exciting, because I'm kind of a mobile photographer, that I could actually do this. But I'll come along. I told Jeff, I don't want to take up a lot of time tonight, but I will do that. I'll make a video, and I'll actually do some video in infrared and show exactly how I do it and put this on and so forth. But it's all on the iPhone. And this is cutting edge. This is really cutting edge. I didn't have to do any color balancing, nothing. And I have another filter ordered. So for my 52 millimeter, so I can actually come along and change and put some of the different moment lenses on, and wide angle, telephoto, fisheye, macro, 10 times macro, and do some infrared. But I am excited. I'm excited just to Jeff to give me a little show and tell time here. But isn't this crazy on an iPhone?
That's
I showed
excellent.
some photographers last night, and they just dropped their jaw. And this one has won big awards with some of his infrared things, images. He said, "Damn it." I said, well, I picked up on what Rad was doing, and so now I'll help him. I've written things down, but I'm glad, Jeff, sometime to take and actually show how I do it.
Yeah.
I'll have somebody, my wife or somebody, help shoot a video. She's got an iPhone, shoot a video and see it happen in the live and come play that.
Just do a screen recording. Do a screen recording on the iPhone, and then do a screen recording on the iPad as you're editing it, so you can see it happen right that way, and then talk through it.
that's what I will do.
Yeah.
But also just show me walking around, putting it on, and what happens from regular picture.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, start to finish.
I will do it. And isn't this exciting though?
It is.
That we
Jerry-
don't have to, that we can do this on an iPhone. And I'll tell you what, it frustrates some people when they've seen some quality pictures and they can't, and they see my name and they say, you didn't do that on an iPhone.
Well, we're pretty sure you did, Jerry.
But anyway,
Hey, Jerry,
it's
Jerry,
so fun.
let's get some filters and do infrared off of a 360 camera. That'll-
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you,
Yeah,
and the secret is this little connection. You don't even have to have a moment lens. You just need this little, this is a 37 millimeter. And then this is a 37 millimeter lens that screws right in there. Here's one that's already screwed in.
So,
And,
Jerry, I have a challenge for you, Jerry.
okay.
Here's a challenge for you. You don't even need to use that. All you got to do is just hold the filter up to the back of your iPhone and shoot that. Now, take a shot from the front camera and take a shot from the back camera and compare the two to see how much infrared filtering is built into the actual cameras and lenses inside the iPhone. See which one works better for the little bit of infrared you're doing. Nice experiment.
Yep, I will do that. Thank you. I will do that.
Welcome.
Anyway, it's fun to show something, and it's been fun for me to be a part of Cutting Edge, that only a few people have actually tried this. And the people that make these things said, is that what you're doing with this? Holy smokes. And I said, well, you made the lens. And then Moment said, you did this with one of our Moment connectors? How did you do that? And I share a little bit because most people won't understand, but people that appreciate black and white like this. And I have another friend that he has a full spectrum. Well, I can't get into that. I do use one application on the iPhone. It's called Camera Plus 2. And it's an extension of than using the regular camera here, but it uses the built-in camera, but it has controls even for color balance. And all I have to do in it is put it on Kelvin in the settings on that Camera Plus 2, and I've got it ready to go for infrared. I don't have to go out like in my regular infrared cameras converted. I have to go out with a white piece of paper or a gray card in bright sun and make a color balance for that infrared converted camera. Here, I just use that Camera Plus 2 application, which has all kind of controls for focusing and everything else. And I won't show it tonight, but when I show the movie, the old infrared film that we had in the darkroom was kind of soft. So what do? In Snapseed, I either go to Glamour Glow, or I take the word structure that's in Snapseed, which is the same thing on a regular Photoshop. They call it clarity, mid-tone contrast, and I move it instead of sharpening with it. I take it down the opposite way. It makes a nice glow to it. It looks like the old film that Kodak had that's now gone, by the way. Anyway, thank you for a few minutes to share a little bit cutting edge with the iPhone. Okay?
All right. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Let me take this off of here. Stop.
Yeah, you can just say stop sharing. That's all.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just have a question, Jerry, about are there not filters like Photoshop filters or Topaz Studio filters that do infrared and
No.
give you the control?
No.
No?
It's a very specialized thing. And I had to go through a company in Utah called Spencer's Camera. There's 3 places in the United States that convert cameras. One is Life Pixel, and all of my cameras have gone through Life Pixel. There's Spencer's in Utah, and then out east is Coleri, and they convert cameras. But Spencer's has started selling these things, and they're selling them for full spectrum cameras. And if some of you are interested, well, I can't do it because it's only for PSA members, but Bill Barnett, a friend of mine from Connecticut, did a show on Tell last week, and it's going to be published pretty soon. I do have his notes. And so he runs around with about 6 different infrared filters on his Micro Four Thirds Panasonic camera. And he has found that the mirrorless cameras work the best. Well, this is a mirrorless camera too. There's no mirror in here. And I think that's why the iPhone is working. The mirror has a problem. It's not as good. Interferes. So these either full frame or Micro Four Thirds mirrorless cameras are wonderful for infrared. But
Mirrors don't always reflect the full spectrum. They may not reflect the infrared.
Full spectrum, you go from no infrared to this color spectrum, this color spectrum, this color spectrum, gold, yellow, red, blood red. And there's a new one out. It's called IR Chrome, sold by Coleri. And all the greenery becomes blood red.
So I think there's some confusion here about the word filters. Okay. So in Topaz and those software applications, they change what you see from what was recorded in the camera. What this filter is doing, it's blocking visible light and only letting through the 720 nanometer light.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. And these, you know, we've had other kind of filters, like we've had our polarizing filters, and we have different brands of filters for photography, for so forth. But this infrared thing is basically, it's not totally new, because I had an infrared filter about 10 years ago when Minolta had just a regular camera called the Maj 7, and it actually leaked a little bit. And so I could put an infrared filter on, but it was so dark, I had to put it in a tripod. I had to expose first, then calculate how dark, and then just keep adding on seconds until light could come through. But these here are dark, but they seem to work on the iPhones. This one guy, a friend of Rad's, his name is Bob Davis, is a real experimental person, and he got playing with it, and that's how this whole thing started. And I am excited that I'm a part of it, and I'm having fun with it through all this COVID mess that we're in. And so I haven't made any trips yet, but I'll probably this weekend we'll be in Indiana for a few days and go out, maybe do a couple barns there. If you go to jerryhug.com, you'll see some of the infrared pictures of barns and different things that I've done with a converted camera. But what I'm doing now is the iPhone, because that's in my pocket all the time. And then there's this little bag to carry around. I'm ready to go, baby. Just this little bag.
Well,
this little bag.
I tell you what, we're kind of running out of time here, folks. So
yeah, I'm done. But it's been
Did you
fun.
say that filter was by moments?
No.
No.
Jerry, would you do that? Would you put the information on the community about the parts you're using and where you're getting it from, where they can get it from?
Yeah,
Put it on the community.
I'll list it out. I'll list. There's about 3 things you need.
Yeah, just put it on the community. That'll be great.
Yeah, I will do it. And if anybody gets excited about it as me, like I do, I'm so happy. Yes.
All righty. Okay, well, does anybody, thank you, Jerry. Thank you very
bet.
much for that. Does anybody else have any
Yeah,
other
thanks.
thing they want to discuss before we sign off for tonight? Anybody? If you do, make sure you unmute yourself so that we can hear you.
Hi, Jeff. Is there any way you could let us know what the topic is going to be for each of the sessions? Like, it was great tonight, but it would be great to know ahead of time. So if we wanted to tell somebody else about it, or just to have any idea about it.
Yeah, we'll try to nail down what we're going to present next time, and we'll put that in the club's calendar.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Also, it should be, Davis is doing some of the publicity with Facebook and marketing team that we're looking at putting what that actually the topics are for the date that we're having. So those two sources should be available for people.
Okay, anything else from anybody else?
No?
So did I convince anybody, Jim, did I convince you not to buy an action camera and to go look at a 360?
I think I'm going to look at a 360 if I can ever get out of this house.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking at it since you mentioned it on the Apple site there. So all the different accessories and that type thing. So it looks very interesting. And it should be a lot easier on my shoulders than carrying two SLRs.
Well, what you could try is just go look at a few of Ben Claremont's videos. There's a bunch of stuff there, but I think we could trust him as a good source.
Yeah.
And the Insta360 one website it's okay. They do a terrible job of explaining what parts to get when with the 1R is modular. And I think they do a terrible job of explaining what the parts do. But and ask if you got any questions. Ask on the community. Maybe we ought to put up we'll see. We have a photography section. I think
Right,
so.
Could be a
just
topic.
ask there. Yeah, it should be a topic there. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's why when I started the whole presentation, I said action cameras and 360 cameras are fun.
Yes, absolutely. And fooling an iPhone to take infrared pictures is pretty cool too.
Yep. Without a doubt.
All right.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, we'll bid everybody a good night and thank you all for joining.
And thank you, Jeff. That was great.
Yes.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Good work, amigo.
All right,
night, all.
folks, you have a good night. Everybody stay healthy.